here at your Sydney Swans.
Welcome back to A Bevy of Bloods, a fan podcast of the Sydney Swans Football Club.
So to all you loyal Swans out there, you just can't get enough of the red and the white.
Fluff up your tail feathers and settle in for a potentially biased yarn about all things to do with our beloved Bloods.
G'day there, Signets and Swanlings. Welcome back to A Bevy of Bloods. You're joined as always by the crew from Sydney. I'm Noddy, together with Sam.
That's right, you lucky loyal Swans fans. Tonight we're going to be chatting about the Swans' smooth prelim win over Port and how we have made yet another grand final. Hopefully we can convert this one. But before then, remember, if you enjoy what you hear, make sure to give us a like and a follow. All right, let's kick things off with a quick game recap.
Last Friday night, in front of 44,000 fans at the SCG, our Sydney Swans defeated the Port Adelaide Power by 36 points, with a final score of 14-11-95 to 8-11-59. All right, Sammy, in carrying on our little tradition, give me 3 words that describe what you're feeling right now.
Oh, I like the 3 words. Elation, nerves, and interesting. I want to say like the want for consistency, which is not a word, but you know, like the want to perform. Like that's my emotion, but I can't summarize it in a word. Shows my English skills. But yeah, I'd say obviously super happy that we're through to the granny. There's a few weeks there where it really wasn't looking like we were gonna get here, so we've done really well to turn it around from the last time we played Port. Nervous, obviously, because Brisbane are a quality team, and they're also gonna have that want to win the flag. And then I just want to see us perform, and I want to see us get it done. I guess determined. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
And even as excited as I am and as happy as I've been, I still very quickly come back to this emotion of like we're nowhere yet. We're nowhere. We gotta win the next game.
You're keeping it under wraps, mate. What I want to do is like, come on, we got it in the grand final. Like that's kind of the vibe on the night, and it's hard to recapture that, because it kind of feels a bit like forced. You're trying to bring it up again, how you were feeling on the night. And I mean, it's funny looking back at this game, it was pretty cruisy, to be honest. I mean, we definitely had the easier prelim in terms of, dominance, I guess. And we're going to unpack it a bit, but I mean, I was still quite stressed at the game. We had so many people there. We had a big group with us again. Had a bunch of my mates that were there. Piper, he brought his mate, Guy. We had to catch up before the game. I brought my mate Jimmy. Obviously, Jules was there. All the regulars were there. Yourself, everyone was there. But it was just a fun build up, and super stressful because of that bogey element. And we just demolished them basically. Like it could have been a lot. The score could have been a lot bigger, and that's kind of what I'm sort of hoping that I guess that's looking back, that would have been nice, but certainly ecstatic with the win. So what am I feeling now? 3 words: want to win. I think I stole your second half of that. Yeah. So my voice is still a little bit raspy, mate, because it was we. We gave it a bit of a nudge.
Oh, yeah, we did. Well, I was sitting there. I was still nervous in the last quarter when we were kicking it around. And I had Danny sitting next to me, and she just looked over at me like, we've won, right? And I was like, not yet. And then when I saw...
It's funny you say that. Because the same thing happened with me with a mate from Canberra who just happened to be sitting in the row before us, like Jason. I looked over at one boy. He looked at me. He was like, Noddy. And I was like, Jason. It was so weird. It was so perfect, so fortuitous. And the whole, I think it was the whole of the second half, I was like stressed and just like... And he's like, no, we've got this in the bag. And I was like, 2 more goals, 1 more goal, 2 more goals. Just like hoping to... I don't know, it's that sick, that fear of them coming back. But I don't know. upon reflection, I think we had it in the bag, didn't we?
Probably, yeah. Like if I wasn't watching a Swans game, I would have thought the game was over. So, but you never know. Someone could always
Yeah.
step on the ground, and then they could call for a head count, and we lose our score. So the game's never over. But and with enough 9-second intervals, anything could happen. But yeah, no, I was still stressed right up until the end, until probably when I saw Heaney celebrate, and I was like, okay, yeah, cool. Like if he's celebrating, like thankfully we're not really a cocky bunch. So when I saw him celebrating,
Yep.
I was like, yeah, cool. Okay, I can be confident. I have faith in Heaney and his ability to celebrate. So
He's elite, and he's elite, and I think he knows when to celebrate. So,
yeah,
yeah, I
elated as I
like that.
was after the game, though, pretty quickly it was like it kind of swapped and it sort of continued to swap and swap back, but it was always very much like back to we've still got one more step here and we've got to take it. So that's sort
Yeah,
of where I'm at, and let's
yeah.
see how we go, I guess.
That's it, mate. So, just recapping, it's our 10th minor premiership in counting from the VFL AFL era. It's our 19th grand final. And obviously, there's a lot riding on it. And I had the same thing, mate. It was funny because obviously the intensity of the game was a totally different level to the Cats and Lions game. But knowing that we'd won fairly comfortably, even tonight, even in preparation for this review episode, all you can kind of think about is the next game. Whereas I didn't really have that as much for the qualifying win against the Giants somehow. I don't know. I had more to. It was just, I guess that was the type of win that game was. In hindsight, that was an incredible comeback victory. But this one, it's sort of like, yep, we won, we got the job done, and now it's on to the task at hand. So I don't know. There's sort of a feeling like that for me. Is that where you are at the moment?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think that it's more like it's still elation. It's still so happy, so proud to be where we are. But yeah, it very much is like we need to just get this done. And
That's right.
yeah, so I'd say
Get
elated,
to work.
nervous, and determined. That's my third word.
Yeah, get to work. There's another one. That's a bit of a horse slogan. That's what he, at the open training session on the Sunday at the SCG, took the fam down, and there were a couple of player interviews, and of course Horse was interviewed at one point, and obviously he's saying it was an amazing achievement so far, and everyone's super proud, but the big job is ahead of us, and basically said we've got to get to work now. We've got to get to work. It's all ahead of us. So yeah, it's it's going to be a fun and exciting week ahead. Obviously, we were lucky enough, and really we have to phrase it like that. We're lucky enough to get tickets to the grand final. I mean, that was very stressful. A lot of people, a lot of fans missed out, but we're lucky to have gotten them, and obviously we're going, so we're really looking forward to that. But I guess I'm jumping ahead of ourselves because we've still got to get through the review of the Port Adelaide game. So just in general, mate, what were your thoughts of the game?
I think the first quarter was quite like I felt like it's closer than the scoreline suggests, but it also felt like the free kicks were ridiculous. But I felt like out of the middle as well, like the whole game we were getting dominated. But what I really did like is that even though we were getting dominated in clearance, especially in the first quarter, we just kept getting it back to another stoppage. And it just helped us settle into the game, especially after conceding a goal quite quickly in the first, was it a goal or was it behind? I think it was behind we conceded
Yeah, that was the
first,
first
actually.
goal of the game. Yeah.
But that was how, oh no, that was really early on. That was literally a minute in. Yeah, so after they got the clearance out of the middle inside 50 and then, but like, I don't know, I think that, yeah, I think we settled, we settled into it well. There was a lot of, like I can see here at the 7 minute mark, it's, it's 6 stoppages. Port Adelaide's won first possession at 6 stoppages to 1 and converted this into 4-1 clearances. So that was 7 minutes in, but they only kicked the one goal, and that was probably only from 1 or 2 clearances to get that goal, maybe even just the one clearance. So, yeah, and then we worked our way back into the game, and
Yep.
we won the first quarter, which is rare, even though they had more scoring shots. But then in that second quarter, I think we really started to turn it on and dominate a bit more. I loved our conversion,
9 goals, 1 in the first
efficiency in
half.
the first half. That was
Big time.
really good to see, because like
Yeah.
that just takes the pressure off as well. Like being able to kick accurately, just helps every single person settle and feel more confident in the positioning. And like if we kicked 5 goals 5, for example, or 6 goals 4, what's that? That's 40 to 30. Would have been up by 10 points. Instead, we're up by 25. And Port Adelaide had the same amount of scoring shots at halftime. And I think the key forwards really stood up as well, all three of them. Like obviously, the big Dostridge hasn't been kicking as many goals this year as the other two, but I feel like he's just a really consistent performer and a really consistent, sort of workhorse of a player. But yeah, we had, I think, of our nine, it was how many? It would have been five of them. Five of them would have been to the Keys in that first half. So really, really strong performance there. From the key forwards in the first and the second. Heaney was great. Chad and Errol both started really well. Honestly, the whole team played really well the whole game. But that first half was great. Third quarter, it was good. Again, we're still getting smashed in clearances throughout this game, but third quarter was good still. However, we did start to lose that efficiency, and we kicked 4 goals 6 for that quarter, which was a little bit disappointing. We probably could have dominated a little bit more there. And then in the last quarter, again, 1 goal 4. Just like nitpicking here, I think we brought the clearances back a bit more. We brought the free kick count back, probably because Port were trying to chop our arms and things like that, and just giving away free kicks in the hope of getting the ball. So, not at crucial times, but yeah. And then we really just controlled it. Like we didn't even try to have a shot in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So like it's yeah, it was a 4 quarter performance, even though we lost the last quarter. And it was a really good performance, and a really controlling, dominant performance, even though our kicking accuracy, went to what was it? It was 5 goals 10 in
Yeah.
the second half, so 33%, not including out on the fulls, with really
Yeah.
gettable misses
Yeah.
too. So that, like, and I get, I'm being a little bit pessimistic here, but only with the want for us to improve in the next game. So the areas of improvement for us against Bris Vegas is we need to dominate clearances, or at least do a better job of matching, and I would say trying to get in a better position early, and then also get back to that accuracy of that first half, especially with Brisbane's well documented misses this year. I think that's something that that there's potential for improvement. But yeah, I really did like how he played. So yeah, that's my thoughts there, I guess.
That's a good overview, mate. I agree. I'll reflect that. I think just in general, I think that first quarter was definitely up for grabs, and Aaliyah was huge, and I think Parker was sent to him to stop his influence, and that's telling, And then we sort of just flipped on the script on its head. We had so much pressure. We were tackling, I think, at 82% efficiency, and Port was only 50, so they were slipping off every other tackle, and we were +7 tackles in the first quarter. So we had the pressure. And then that allowed us to intercept. Intercepts were really the game. That was scores from turnovers. Essentially, intercepts was the game. And then of course the kicking efficiency there. We were +10 by the end of it, 74% to 64. So I was just super happy to see our tools taking marks, and us working really hard for that sort of midfield, also defensive chain turnovers, and then just pinging back the other way. So many times we had acres of space, and we were just passing it, kicking it beautifully. The marks, I think, was 131 to 70 by the end of the game. So, it was just a very pleasing effort, because we were switched on from the first quarter, and that's 10-0 from winning first quarters. So we all know about the first quarters. We're bottom 4 team in first quarters. and then we're first in second and third, and I think we're top 3 or so in the fourth. But it was really pleasing to win and kick so accurately in that first quarter, and that set us up for a really solid second. And that, as you said, it was a bit disappointing with the goal accuracy in the second half, but it was largely done. I mean, a 6-goal buffer is a pretty good win, in hindsight, even though it was very, very stressful at the time, still somehow. But I'll tell you what, angst Gegener. So I did a little special episode release trying to break into the bogey team concept, and that was the German word for feared opponent. And didn't we smash it, mate? It's gone. What a time to get rid of that bogey. And this was on the app, but I thought this was very interesting. It was the third time ever that two teams had met in a final when the previous game was won or lost by a 100-plus point margin. And funnily enough, all 3 times the losing team in that 100-plus margin game has then gone on to win that final. So, yeah, I guess if I'd
That is bizarre.
that's
isn't it?
interesting. Yeah, I didn't.
In the same season.
Yes,
Yeah, it has
same
to be.
season. Yeah, so
Yeah. Wow, that
weird.
is
Hey,
just
yeah,
that is very, very strange.
yeah. But
But
look, loved it, mate. I
it's
think
good. I mean, it gives 2012 vibes.
yeah,
Touch wood.
totally. I think pleasing was, they had obviously they got a lot of weapons, and while they fired a few shots, they were largely ineffective. They didn't really do too much. Horn Francis, depending where you come from, he was probably their best. But Butters, I don't think had a kick in the first half, or an effective kick in the first half. So look, I just think it was a very pleasing, very dominant, very comfortable win, and certainly as a fan, I think they're the types of wins you'd rather have than, as we've already touched on, the Cats and the Lions game, which was a cracker. But geez, that would have been stressful if you were a fan of either of those teams. But mate, we sort of touched on some moments. I don't know if we want to call out any individual or if we want to just crack ahead. What are you thinking, mate? What do you want to call out some moments?
Look, I mean, moments. Let me have a think. I mean, it's a hard one to really go with moments. I think first one that stands out is Chad's intercept in that third quarter. Where he I think it was Boak's kick in, and he got there and got it and sort of ran around the defence, kicked it through. Papley on the siren.
That's it for me.
I think you could go with the big got sort of pack marks from the key forwards. I think, but really it was a really controlled. Chad from outside 50 as well. Isaac's mark in the first quarter, or sorry, no, was it first quarter or was it second quarter? I think it was the second.
I think first, going back in the defensive half.
No, it was the first. It was the first. No, it was the second. I'm lost.
Depends which one. He took a fair few marks.
Sorry, not the one in defence, not the specky one. I'd say the one where that was a really good moment though. But the mark and goal.
Okay.
Honestly, it probably wasn't I don't think this is going to go down as one of the most memorable games of football. In the history of even the season. I think that we it was a great performance and we did really well, but I don't think that it was a real game of moments. I think it was more around the way we controlled it.
Yeah, definitely, mate, and especially with everything that was made of, and we've already touched on it, from that 112-point shellacking. It was almost as if they were all willing us to not be able to break the losing streak. But I thought that was just such a statement game in its totality, and just one where you can be absolutely proud of that, because that was just a classy, controlled, deliberate and consistent effort, wasn't it? And very, very pleasing, and obviously super pumped. But still, one more to go. So, Matt, I reckon we can probably move to Bob Medal.
Yeah. All right. Well.
Yep.
I'll kick it off with the 3 votes then. Okay. So, I think this one's no surprise to anyone, but it's going to Isaac, robbed of the Brownlow Heaney. So he had another consistent game, going through the stats: 6 touches, 8 touches, 4 touches, 6 touches. He kicked 2 goals, one. He had 6 marks, 6 tackles, game high, 8 score involvements, 3 inside 50s, 300 meters gained, 2 contested marks, 6 clearances, real all round game. And quite weirdly, all of his stats are kind of divisible the 24 disposals is really divisible by 6 in a sense, or I don't know, you look at it and 1/8 of his disposals were scoring shots. One quarter of his disposals came from marks. 16 kicks. I'm getting into just weird
There's some
numbers
Rain
right
Man
now.
shit going on, and I'm not following,
It's
but it
almost
sounds
10:30. I'm tired, but if you look at his stats, they're really nice. I don't know. They're really
they're just
really
sitting in your
aesthetically
brain nicely,
pleasing
mate. They're sitting in your brain nicely.
to look at, and 8 score involvements and 6 clearances. You can both put them into 24.
Yep.
The even the kicks and the handballs, the marks, the tackles. Anyway, it's all just a really nice looking stat line. But
As
he was
Chris would
awesome.
say, you can find anything in numbers. But I think what you're finding now is a nice warm,
I am
nice warm pool
Yeah.
of Isaac Heaney. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really comfortable place actually.
We
But
all want to be resting calm in the brilliance that is Isaac the Heat Heaney. He's just unbelievable.
Isaac's numbers are actually wrapping their arms around me right now. I'm going to fall asleep feeling very comfortable. But pretty much he was just really, really consistent throughout the game.
Yeah.
And he's what I really liked about his game too? His tackle intensity. He had the second most tackles on the ground, joint with Campbell and behind a whopping 11 from Rowie. But the tackles that he made, they really stayed down. They really stayed down. So, I think it's no surprise to anyone, even though, he didn't have the most touches on the ground. He was clearly the best on ground, and his impact goes far beyond the touches and beyond the warm numbers.
He is the best player of this year. Honestly, he is the best player of this year. And just on the tackles there, I'll just call back to the preview episode we did. I think it was Wines, Butters, Horn Francis and Drew, I think had 10, 9, 8 and 8 tackles. I think I might have stuffed up one of the mids there, but we had the top 5 tackle getters in this game. They're not as high as that. Obviously, Rowie, streets ahead 11, Campbell 6, Heaney 6, Cunners 5, Hayward 5, and then the next 4 were Port. So that was nice there. Anyway, just a call back to that comment. But yeah, Heaney robbed of a Brownlow. It just wasn't going to happen, was it? You got the feeling the Vics were definitely a Victorian team player was definitely going to win the Brownlow, and they made sure of that with Cripper breaking the record. But
yeah, I mean, I like it. Yeah, should we get into the Brownlow? Is that a rabbit hole?
No. Go back to the Bob. Go to the proper
Okay.
the proper medal.
Oh yeah. Of course. Okay.
Just one more thing before we go on to the next one. Just on Isaac's numbers, giving you a warm hug. There's a couple of numbers here that were doing similar sort of things to me, and that's the palindrome of the score, 95 to 59. I like that. And then we were bang on our season average for goals, 14, and bang on for our season average for behinds. And then obviously the Lions kicking the exact same score to get through. They kicked 14, 11, 95. So, sorry, just wanted to get on.
And we also kicked the same score in 2022 in the prelim, I'm pretty sure, as well.
Really? Okay. That's another hug. I'm loving all these hugs. It's a good feeling.
And it still goes into 2024 as well, so it's still part of the Heaney numbers. Okay. Well, do you want to go the 2 votes?
14, 11, 95 against the Pies. Well done, Sammy. Okay. Sorry, I've just got to get back out again. And of course, it's not working. Kick me off, and then I'll join you halfway.
What?
Comment se disait?
Yeah, do you want me to kick you
Here
off
we go.
the?
Okay, here we go. Gordon, Errol Gordon. So, funnily enough, he had 27 touches, and that was game high. So, fairly low in terms of overall touches for the game, but 27 at 70%, that's pretty good. He was, I think it was one of these games where he was able to sort of get off and do what he does. So, he didn't really have a tag, not a dedicated tag, as far as I could tell. He had 7 inside 50s, which was highest for Swans, but second on ground. He had a stack of metres gained, 592. 6 score involvements, which was in our top 4. Goal assists, he was in our top 5. It was just, I don't know, I just thought it was one of those solid Heaney games. Heaney on the brain. One of those solid Errol games. How did you say it,
Yeah,
mate?
I think particularly his first half and first, I guess first 3 quarters he was very consistent, having 888 touches, or 887, sorry, and then he had 4 in the last. He just played a really good, and it felt like a really clean game, and it felt like quite an outside game as well. And yeah, like I think it was just quite silky, that would be how I'd describe it. So yeah, I don't have a whole lot more to add, to be honest with you. He did get 4 clearances actually, so maybe it's not all on the outside, but yeah, no, look, another very good game. Still, yeah, 7 inside 50, 6 score involvements, 592 meters gained. Really says it all. And actually, there's a big stat there, I think. Not really, but 5 intercepts. It's still, in the top few players. So it's an interesting one for Errol. But yeah, no, just a really, really solid performance. And then with the one vote, we have my favourite, Mr. Chad Warner. So Chad started the game really well, like the other 2 in this. And then in the third quarter, he went bang, kicked the 2 goals, the one handoff from Amadi from outside 50 and that intercept goal. He only had the 5 score involvements, 5 inside 50s, 533 metres gained. Again, and to be honest with you, these 3 got selected, and they got selected probably because they were the best 3, but in reality, this one spot could have probably gone to 90% of the team. There's the whole team played really well, and you mentioned before the stats in terms of possessions and numbers. I don't think that it actually was too low. Like 356 is, especially given Port had 281. So it seemed like we clearly outpossessed them, by pretty much, what is it, about close to 80. Touches, but going down, if we have a look at our players, I think let's see, under 10 touches was Campbell, who had 6 tackles and was really there as that pressure forward. Papley, who kicked 3 goals. Luke Parker, who was on a leer, probably didn't have his best night, and the sub Robbie Fox. Everyone else had above 10 touches, and then really, it's still like most players had above 15 or above 14. So we really just spread the ball around, especially in that last 10 minutes. It was just going around to everyone except for Port.
Yeah. It's funny, like on the kicks there, I think I read somewhere, and I'll have to find this and see it and verify it, but I'm pretty sure I read it was like all of our games in our wins, if we've had at least as many kicks as the opposition, so if we end up in a plus differential, we win the game. So, I mean, that's an indication of ball use ability. But this was definitely one of those games. It was ping it about and hold it, and it was great. Look, are we going to go honourable mentions, or should we just say pretty much everyone?
I'd say
I don't think anyone had a bad game.
I'd say the whole team, yeah. I just think it was a really solid team performance, and Parker, I think he was one that he could have really converted a couple more shots, or it was just a shame not to see him kick a goal. Really, I think I'm just a bit bit salty about it. But
Yeah.
outside of that, I think as I said, the only blemish was our accuracy in the second half, and
Yeah.
also like kind of just how dominated we were in the clearance. So like the whole team were fantastic. I just there's no real complaints there. Just me being nitpicky.
I thought Juzzy was amazing. I thought was at one point probably our best on ground. I think it was in the first quarter. I mean, throughout the game, you could see that the three amigos we were just talking about, they obviously rose to the top. But I guess what I was thinking was just really positive to see Juzzy bounce back after that Giants game. Obviously, his second game back from returning from injury. He looked good. I don't think he missed a beat. He is Juzzy, right? He's the same old Juzzy. There he is, making beautiful. How about that inside 50 kick to Amadi, where Amadi just burnt, I think it was first quarter, burnt Alir, and then Party got his first goal. That was just really, really clever. He had some outside run, got the handball receipt, and then laced it. So I don't know. It's really good to see Juzzy back in and firing. So
it was. And there was a lot of calls as well, and I wouldn't have disagreed with it after the qualifying final that maybe he wasn't match fit, or just he really wasn't on in that game. He still had some good touches, but I think he only had 6 touches, and he set up a goal, but it was like a kind of supposed to be just lays out onto the chest, and he grubbed it. And I think Wilbur just did well with the just made a chance out of nothing. So the fact that he wasn't sub, like at a minimum, just shows, I guess, the confidence in him, and he really delivered on that. It was very clear as well, like early on, as you said, that Juzzy was back and Juzzy was on. So it's gonna be interesting for selection this week if Millsy makes it back, who will be the sub?
Yep, that's a good segue. Let's dive into that, mate. So obviously the other one that came under a fair bit of scrutiny lately was Joel Amadi, as probably the most quiet of the three talls in the last, let's call it 6 weeks. You could probably go longer, back to the Crows game, until he got that moment in the qualifying final. I thought he really silenced a lot of critics. He was really, really busy, a lot of tackle pressure, obviously kicked really well, presented well. Just looked really, really sharp. And look, I can't hide. Like we spoke about it as well on the potty. I don't think we ever went to the point of saying, get rid of him. But we said, he's definitely in the mix for, is this the best combination of players? So I thought Amadi was really solid in general, mate. Did you think he played
100%.
pretty well?
Yeah, look, I think as I said, all the keys played quite well. They again, a bit of accuracy could have been good at the end there, but I think Marty probably could have kicked 5, and he had a really good game, and brought that tackle pressure as he always does, but actually clunked a few, converted well, especially early on, which was where it was probably more crucial to do so. And I think he played a really, really complete game, just like Logan and just like the big Dostrich. So there's another talking point, Logan.
Yeah, Logan. Okay, so how serious is the ankle? He missed the open session on the Sunday because I think he was doing some sort of fancy futuristic recovery bath. Or it could have just been an ice bucket. I don't know. It looked a little bit awkward, didn't it, the incident? Like he kind of went over on it and it was twisted under. And then obviously there was that camera of him putting his foot in the bucket there. So that's a pretty big one. Obviously he was the heartbreak story of 22. Obviously he was, Reed came back and we're sort of I feel like we're there again with Mills's Hemi and we don't want to be making any of these 50-50 calls. And I think it was today that it was Horse was saying Mill's going to go out and go 100% at training and see how he goes, and that might be the deciding factor. But I don't know, mate. How are you feeling right now about all this sort of stuff?
It is a really weird one. It is a really, really strange one. Obviously, we would want Millsy there. However, after Sam Reed and that, like, and I guess also, Mills's season in a sense, it hasn't been, like his best year. He, hasn't been able to get back into the mids. He's been playing down back, which I've really liked, to be honest. I've really liked that he's been there. But, it's, like I really don't. If we take the risk, I'm very happy for him as especially as the captain and everything. It will be very sad for Robbie Fox and Taylor Adams in particular. But I'll be very happy for him to get in. But maybe if he does come in, he starts as the sub. Maybe that's the way to make the sub call.
Did Fox? So we didn't really talk about Fox, did we? I don't feel like I think he just played his role. I don't think he really did anything that stood out too much.
In all fairness to him, I don't think there was, there wasn't a whole lot of stuff being done in general, especially half the last quarter was chipping around the back.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And like you got 3 touches and like, they can't sit there and say he played a poor game or a great game. He just came in and at a time where Logan was out injured and, so it's an interesting one, but I think Logan will be fine to play, just by the way.
Yeah.
I think that they actually brought him, they said he was injured, they brought him back on, he had a set shot and missed it, and they took him off. So, like, I think that he's okay.
Yeah.
I hope so anyway, so I hope he plays. And then, Millsy's the intriguing one.
Yeah, definitely. And look, worst case scenario, touch wood, obviously, that Logan and Mills don't pull up, then I think we're more than covered. Obviously, then we've got Fox and then Adams is coming in, and whoever is on the bench there, we'll figure it out. And then obviously they get there. Adams gets his feel good story. But obviously the preference is to keep structure and Logan, and then maybe Mills in for the leadership. But it's going to be interesting, I think. Obviously, not as big, and we're going to do a preview potty tomorrow night. But the equivalent, the Oscar McInerney's double shoulder dislocation. I think that's a bigger loss. I think on the eve of, but look, I don't know. I feel like we're sort of winding down this review episode. Do you feel like we're getting to the end of it, mate? Is there anything else you kind of want to call out?
Unless we're going to talk about the Brownlow, then no.
Okay. Let's talk about the Brownlow, and then I'll sort of give a bit of an outline of the week's plans. Okay.
So, the Brownlow, I mean, like obviously Heaney was always going to get robbed, but holy moly, I thought he got robbed early on. It was quite strange that that he didn't poll in the first game. And remember how I was at the start of the season saying I can't believe Chad didn't poll a vote. Well, he polled 3, so I was justified in that. However, that was Heaney's 3 votes there, so it was very strange. Then in the second game, they gave Chad 3. Okay, fair enough. Heaney then went on a bit of a tear, but it was a weird Brownlow, and I think Brownlow's just getting weirder and weirder with the emergence of champion data and all the statistics. Like I never noticed it as much, and the last 3 or 4 years, some of the calls are just bizarre. Like the last round, like I swear Blakey had 32 touches and kicked 2 goals and didn't poll. And it's not to say that you have to poll for that game, but how could you not? He wasn't even in the mids. It stands out so much that he would get the ball, especially the way he plays. So I found that very strange. Chad's reaction to polling against Richmond was very funny. It was Errol I think had 37 touches in one game and didn't poll, which was just bizarre. I think that's the game where. What game was it? Or maybe he didn't poll 3. I'm not sure, but it was very, very strange. There's a lot of strange votes, but good to see Rowie, poll a few. For the first of his career, I'm quite sure. Matty Roberts getting a nice 3 voter at the end, which probably should have been Blakey's, but that's all right. We'll spread the love. Yeah, it was. I thought it was so awesome seeing all three of our guys, all three of our main trio up the top for most of it, and like they polled 76 votes. Like if we went through all the clubs, they would have polled more than I would say most. Actually, I'm going to go through it now. So one, two,
I've got a thing that says
three.
103 votes.
Oh yeah,
for
but
Sydney.
just the three of them.
Oh, the three of them. Yeah, yeah.
So we got. I'm just going through them all now just to see how many. Um, um, 8,
I think it was about 60 or
9,
70, wasn't it?
9, 10. Okay, so the three of them polled more votes as a three than at least 10 of the clubs.
What did they get together? How many points?
76.
76. So
They
they have
averaged
beaten
25 each.
They've
25
beaten
three.
Geelong, Collingwood, Melbourne, Essendon, St Kilda, Gold Coast, Adelaide, North Melbourne, West
Yeah.
Coast, and Richmond.
Yeah. So
And then we were the most in general, in total. Sorry, on 103, and Bulldogs second 91, and then Freo 87, Carlton 87, sorry, Giants 85, Port 84, Hawthorn 82, Brisbane 82. So yeah, I think we're just stealing votes. They were stealing votes from each other, right? So that's obviously the thing there. But did you watch many
knew that was.
Carlton games? Did Patrick Cripps have that good a year?
I have seen a few. My dad's a Carlton fan, but I didn't watch. I mean, I watched a few, but like, I think the thing is with Cripps is he's a great player, and I know that people probably may not like him because Victorian or whatever, but I really like Paddy Cripps. I think he's a good player. I think he's a good bloke.
A WA guy, yeah, he's pretty level-headed, pretty casual guy. WA farm, but he's really loyal and settled in Victoria there. But the Carlton element, I think. But yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, I like Cripper, and good on him. I think he's a deserved winner. To be fair, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Heaney would have been a more deserved winner, but I've got no complaints outside of the Heaney factor. But
I'm happy that Cripper won over Dacos.
yeah, well, let's not get into that argument. But I don't think
They were basically apologising to Nick Dacos.
Actually, I agree to that part. That was messed up. They apologised to him like 3 times.
Why are they like? What's all this pandering to Nick Dacos?
He did break the record as well for most votes in a season, like up until this year. So that is pretty amazing effort to get there. But anyway,
they just wanted to give it to him anyway after last year.
back to the original question. I did not think he had the most dominant season in the history of the AFL by 9 votes. Like, I think that's ludicrous. He is a great player, and obviously he's the way he plays the game really draws the umpire's attention. But for a team that won 13 games, I really don't know how he polled, 45 votes, even though I can see how he could win the medal and how he could do well. To do that much better is just shows I think the umpires probably shouldn't be voting on this. But again, I say that with with an asterisk of well done to Patrick Cripps and congratulations, awesome season, very consistent year, but most dominant season in the AFL by 9 votes, not a chance.
Yeah. I mean, look, he spoke very well, and it's hard to not like the guy. He's very, very down to earth, very grounded. He obviously works very hard and is a good leader as well. Was it whoever the guy came on and did the toast for him? He's obviously a Western Australian because he made that comment. How could we let him go?
Yeah, that was quite funny.
Yeah, whatever, he's the chair of the AFL. But look, mate. Obviously, it was pleasing to just have so many votes, as you said, and is reflection of how well our players have played, and effectively our midfield unit has played. But look, obviously the bigger prize is still ahead of us, and it's going to be one hell of a next few days, isn't it? So obviously this is the review potty. We've mentioned that we're going to do a preview potty tomorrow night. which is Wednesday night. We're recording on Tuesday night. And then we'll probably do some sort of teams announcement potty either from Sydney or Melbourne, depending how we go. And then we'll just do a bunch of game day or, sort of on the street stuff Friday at the parade, and then obviously going to the AFLW game to cover that. And then that's in the lead up to the grand final. And I think the good Harper did some solid admin and booked a pub for us. So that's nice. Good stuff. We've got a brunch for Saturday morning. That's looking positive.
Cool. Yeah, I'm going to be working on Friday. So,
what? When are you going? When are you coming? When are you leaving?
Still to be determined. I've actually got to go pack after this. It's almost 11 o'clock, but I will be getting in the car tomorrow. My dad's got to go down and move some cars and motorbikes, thankfully. So I'll get in the car with him, get to Benalla, work from Benalla on the Thursday, probably get to Melbourne Thursday afternoon / Thursday night. And then I haven't booked any days off, so I'll be working. However, given that some of the boys work in fintech, I think that there's potential for me to have meetings with them and potentially do part of my job with you guys. If we can. All
right. Well, you don't want to throw yourself under the bus here on air, mate, just in case. But I think you're going to be working hard nonetheless. Is what I'm hearing. Yeah. It's all very official. It's all above board.
It is all above board. And like I would, they would.
Okay,
good. I can get some good info from those guys, and we can actually go from there. So I've got a plan.
Good stuff. We are jetting off early Thursday morning, and I made it sound like we're flying because I used the verb to jet, but we're actually getting in the car and hitting the tarmac. So. Yeah, we'll be there for Thursday night. So looking forward to all the activities and catching up with all of our Melbourne-based friends and fans alike. And it's going to be one hell of a week. And as Harper said, our jobs will be there when we get back, all going well. But, we should enjoy this week because we know how hard it is to get there and how harder it is still to come out on top. So we just got to enjoy it and hope for the best. But yeah, let's hope this voice recovers by the time I get down there and start screaming again. Probs not. But okay, mate. Well, I reckon that's it. Obviously, we're going to be coming out fast and furiously this week, so keep an eye out. We'll be releasing as we go. But that pretty much brings us to the end of this episode. So thank you for listening through to the end. If you made it this far, it must mean we did something good. So we'd love it if you could give us a like and a follow on all of your favourite socials.
Yes, and make sure to keep an eye out for everything going on during Grand Final week. The Grand Final parade, public holiday in Victoria on the Friday, and game day itself. But, we'll see you. Well, I don't know if I'll be there. I'll probably be in a car, but the boys will likely see you tomorrow night. And until then, and including now and tomorrow, up the Bloods and can you Swannies.
And can you Swannies. Come on, Swannies. One more.